All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and today we're talking about Matco's new ball joint press with snap-in adapters. Now the part number for this is BJPXR9. Now this is really the first competition to Snap-on's ball joint press. I'm sure everybody in the audience is familiar with Snap-on setup. You know, the adapters, instead of having to stack them and hold them and try to get it all lined up, they snap in. This one is really the first competition to that system, and so we're going to compare them versus the old school OTC. All right, so the kit itself comes with an application guide. Actually tells you what adapters to use in the kit. Now it's got a standard C-frame, but it's extended, it's bigger. Now the adapters all have this little ball detents in there. Now they're set in with set screws. I'm sure there is a serviceable spring in there, so when they start, wearing out, you can service them. But the adapters pop in and stay. So you can actually set it in the press and not have to hold anything. Size-wise, there is a massive difference. This is an old OTC Matco ball joint press that I've owned for a very long time, and as you can see, it's pretty beat up. This is the new C-frame. So I will compare, try to get them as close as possible. So as you can see, there is a massive difference in the amount of throat comparing the old to the new. Now, if you've ever used the old school, you know these adapters. You're sitting there trying to hold them and they fumble and you drop them all and they suck. Again, these just pop in and out. Now we've compared it against the old school OTC. Let's compare it to Snap-on. I'll try to get them as lined up as I can, and you can actually see on the OTC you actually do have a larger throat. Now the Snap-on does look beefier, and some guys like the fact that it's got the flat spot to put in a vise. I don't very often use that, but something to differentiate the two. Now, let's talk about Snap-on's retention system, these clips. And that's a good example. The little friction ring that they use wears out. I wasn't trying to actually do that, but it's a good example. They pop off after they get worn. Now, I don't own this kit. This is Bam Bam's, but I have used it in the past. When I worked for another shop, he had one of these as a shop tool. And I can tell you right now, most of the adapters didn't hold. You'd put them on and they'd fall off. See, as that one supposed to be clipped on, it's not really retaining. That's one of the most common adapters used, and it needs to be fixed. I mean, that's not cool. I mean, like this one, now again, these can be serviced as well. I have noticed that these do tend to get very loose relatively quickly. Your mileage, of course, will vary, but we don't do a ton of ball joints in this shop, actual press-in ball joints, simply because the vehicles we work on usually come as part of a control arm, not so much a press-in ball joint. We do use it on occasion, but that's one of the big things with the Snap-on is it does tend to get worn and easily fall off. Construction-wise, I do like the fact that Snap-on does put a grease fitting in theirs as far as so you can grease the threads. You can do the same thing with the OTC, you just wipe it on instead, but I would like to have had them do that. Price-wise, the Matco is more expensive. According to them, it actually does more vehicles than the standard ball joint press 1 from Snap-on. Now, I am not going to be able to verify that claim ever. It is what it is. That's their claim. It's advertising, but they claim greater reach across vehicles with this standard adapter kit. And I think including cutout adapters, you know, different size cups. Now I'd love to show you pressing in a ball joint in and out, but again, they're pretty rare around here, and as soon as I get an arm with a ball joint in it, I will definitely grab it and do a video on it, but I don't have one, so I can't. So this will be obviously an initial impression of it. I definitely like the balls a lot better. If nothing else, when it starts getting a little weak, you can always screw in the set screws on the side, so you can increase tension on the balls. They both have them. Again, you've got multiple adapters for multiple applications. It comes with an application guide. Definitely a nice piece of kit. Now Matco also has a much larger X-frame style ball joint press that uses O-rings to retain the adapters, and you can use standard OTC or Matco or Astro, whatever adapters on it. And again, it's going to wear out. That system is way overkill for what we deal with in the shop, simply because we don't deal with 450s, 350s, 250s. You know, we're pressing out a ball joint. It's probably on an older Honda where it's in the spindle. So definitely, once I get a chance to demo this tool, I definitely will. But at this point, I don't have one, so it is what it is. But definitely a very cool piece of kit, and definitely solid competition against the Snap-on BJP1, which is really the first time there's been any competition for that. I will definitely give that to Snap-on. This is the end-all be-all of ball joint presses until this one. Now, obviously, we'll see how it does over time. It's a brand new tool, so I can't say whether or not the C-clamp will spread. Now, I will tell you, I've done some wicked stuff with my original OTC, which is US made, and it has not spread. So I've got, you know, confidence in this C-frame that it's not going anywhere, but time will tell on that. But really, the first competition, real world competition for Snap-on. Now, whether you agree with the price or not, or are willing to spend the price, it's up to you. So I hope you enjoyed this look at the Matco ball joint press with snap-in adapters. Definitely something cool, much handier than the old school method. So thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.